Hey friends, I brought you a new recipe, and this recipe is a blackberry cake with caramel frosting. Really delicious. There is some things I would change along the way, and I'll tell you when we get to that step. But it does have a ton of ingredients, and it is made by scratch. So you're going to want to choose whatever type of berry you want. In this case, this is a blackberry cake. You can do blackberry, but you could also switch it up and do any kind of fruit that you wanted to. And also, I have some walnuts I'm going to put in this cake. You can also substitute that and use any kind of nut, or don't put any nut in it. That's completely up to you. So I'm going to need like 2 sticks of butter, baking soda, some baking powder, cocoa powder, some brown sugar, powdered sugar, some different spices. So there is ground cinnamon and nutmeg. Also, if you had allspice, you could put allspice in it. I did not have allspice on this day. And some all-purpose flour and sugar. And so we're going to get started. You could also even use fresh blackberries if you wanted to. I chose frozen. So and that is a 16-ounce bag, or you could use 1 can of the blackberry mix. So let's go ahead and get this recipe started. So I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar to this mixture of berries. The berries, I do have a lid on it so it can help thaw the berries out quicker, but I'm going to use almost a cup of just regular granulated sugar that's going to go in this one, and put the lid back on it. Keep a close eye on it so you don't actually burn the berries and the sugar. It will happen really quickly, so you don't want to burn those. But like I said, just keep an eye on them. I mix them up here and there, and I end up adding just a little bit of water to get it started. And I also have my stove set on low. Hey everyone, so I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. This is completely optional. You do not have to put that in there, but I did add that. And also, of course, I hated to add the lemon juice liquid, but I am kind of boiling it down, concentrating this mixture. It's a little bit too wet because of where the berries were frozen. So I'm just going to boil it down till it's a little bit thicker of a consistency. But the lemon helps bring out some of that natural berry flavor. So, but it's optional. So now we're going to get started on the actual bread mix of this cake. So you're going to need 1 stick of butter that's going to go inside this mixture, and you're also going to need 2 cups of sugar that's going to go in, and then you're going to want to mix it up. So as you're mixing the sugar and the butter, you're going to want to add 3 eggs. And you want to add those one at a time because they need to integrate. It gets too liquidy too fast. So just slowly add your 3 eggs in there. I don't know if you guys could see that, but wasn't that the cutest little egg? One of those chickens, one of my chickens lays a speckled egg. I don't know which one. So our next step is we're going to add some of the dry ingredients, and all of this needs to be sifted. I have the world's smallest sifter, but it's all good. So we're going to need, in regards to flour, 3 cups of flour is going to need to be sifted into this mixture. And you're also going to need some different like spices, really. And so you're going to need 2 teaspoons of baking soda that needs to go in this, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of cloves, and I did not have it in this recipe, but it would have tasted really good, and that is half a teaspoon of ground allspice. Also, half a tablespoon of cocoa. So I actually use half a cup of walnuts. You actually wouldn't have to use any nuts if you don't want to, or you can choose a different type, totally up to you, optional. But I do advise that you hold those to the side and do not put this in the mix just yet. I also would recommend that you do not put in the berries just yet, that you basically mix the powder mixture with the spices and sugar and the butter, and you put those in at the very end, and then you hand stir them, not use a mixer at all. You hand stir those. I don't know if it would turn out any better, but I think that's what I would do with it. It was still a really good cake, but I think that's what I would change about the recipe. So if you fix it, that would be my advice, to do it just a little bit different. Live and learn. So be sure to spray your dish with some non-stick spray before you put your cake mixture in whatever pan you're going to use. And also, you're going to want to bake that on 350 for, I would start checking it at 30 minutes. Mine took closer to an hour at 350. I didn't want to turn it up because I didn't want the edges to, get too brown, too dark, and actually burn those before the center. So 350 at least 30 minutes, but watch it after 30 minutes if it's not done. So now we're going to start off making the frosting, the caramel frosting that's going to go on top of this cake. So we're going to start out with 1 stick of butter. I used unsalted. if I had salted, I would have used it. Or if you have unsalted, just put a little bit of salt in it. And so we're going to start by melting this butter down. And then we're going to add 1 cup of light brown sugar, firmly packed in 1 cup. And we're going to start mixing that and bring it to a good boil. So once it reaches a boil, be sure that you stay with it so it does not burn. And also we're going to add 1/4 a cup of milk to this mixture and just keep stirring. So now that we've reached a boil and it is time to add powdered sugar. So you're going to add 3 1/4 cup of powdered sugar into this mixture. And you're going to want to mix it up really good. If I would have thought, I would have sifted it in there, but I was worried everything was going to continue to burn. So just mix it vigorously and keep it from burning. The icing looks so smooth and creamy. So after you bake your cake, allow your cake to cool down. I let my icing cool down as well, but I recommend that you allow your cake to cool down and then you make the icing for this cake. And once it is made on the stove, go ahead and immediately put it on your cake. I allowed mine to cool off and it was a little bit more difficult to spread the icing around. So just take it straight from the stove and put it on your cake. Guys, as always, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and please like and subscribe. Until next time.